Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sports Lowdown. Brad Swanson and Knapp bringing you the Sports Lowdown right here on Channel 98.9 FM like we do each and every week. Lee, you were out last week not feeling so well. The weather caught up with you and put you under the weather.
Yes, it
did. But you're back this week, and a few things have happened. Probably the main thing that's happened is winter sports regular seasons are done. Over with. We're in the postseason. That's hard to believe, isn't it?
It went fast.
We blinked again, didn't we?
Yeah, it went fast.
Well, the girls and boys basketball team, the girls and boys swim teams, and the wrestling team are all geared up. And actually, the boys basketball team had a playoff game last Friday against the Buff and got a win.
Yep.
So that pushes them on. They play tomorrow night. And they play Grove City, that being at Slippery Rock.
Yeah, Slippery Rock.
So if they get a win there, they're going to play a little closer to home. Had they won one more game this year, knocked off Warren or Harbor Creek in the regular season, they would have been playing up at the, I believe at the, the Prep Villa Event Center. I believe that's where McLean and Harbor Creek are playing. So the winner of the Grove City Corry game gets the winner of Harbor Creek General McLean. So, Corry's got a great chance. They really do. They got a good chance to knock off Grove City. And then when they get in the playoffs, Harbor Creek has beat Corry twice. Corry has beat General McLean twice. Anytime that happens, that third game, if you're a coach, you're really uneasy about it.
Yeah.
Whether you're the coach that has lost twice or won twice, because it's hard to beat a team two times, let alone three.
Three times in a row.
Especially when the teams are fairly evenly matched.
Right.
So the boys have an opportunity, and I'm sure that Coach Bailey and his staff has been going over that with the boys.
Oh, yeah.
Rigorously, letting them know. So we would like to see those guys get a win. And then on Saturday, the girls will be in action. They're going to play in the first round of the playoffs, and we wish them the best of luck as they head out. They play Saturday night at Farrell High School.
Wow.
So we wish them the best of luck as well. And our wrestlers have been doing really well all year long. They've won a couple tournaments. They just most recently won at the section tournament in Meadville.
Right.
They took first place as a team, 4 individual champions, a runner-up, a few third-place guys. Out of 14 weight classes, Lee, we're sending 13 to districts. So that's very impressive.
Yes, that's very impressive. You're right.
And also, Coach Mark Muncie was voted the section coach of the year. So
congratulations!
Hats off to the whole program. Those assistant coaches that do so much behind the scenes that don't get recognized that much.
Takes more than one coach to do that.
You're right. And to all the underclassmen that are helping out, that are not starting varsity guys, that are working out and pushing the starters at practices all the time.
Well, it gives those starters somebody to wrestle. I mean, somebody about in their own weight class, because like you were talking earlier, you got 2 or 3 guys in each weight class. It gives them somebody to wrestle with at their own weight, which is going to help them down the road.
Oh yeah, and you have a couple of these guys that are partners in the practice room. Just for instance, I'll throw out there Muncie and Caden Rada, and 2 little buzzsaws right there. They're both really quick, tough kids. They hit their moves continuously, one after another, and really put the pressure on and push each other. Also, you get into the heavier weights, you got the big boys. You got the 182-pound Matt Petrilla and the 195-pound Hayden Linkerhoff. Those two push each other great in practice. And then you have Sean Proctor at 220 and Xavier Rada heavyweight. Those two work hard with each other. And you got guys in between all the way up through that lineup that do the same thing.
Yes.
So good to see those guys having such a great year. And, they took 7 out of the section tournament to move on to districts. Now they get the districts, 16-man brackets. They're going to take 8 onto the regional tournament out of this district tournament. Corry stands a chance to send a lot of kids to regions.
Well, that would be super.
Yeah. And it's something that has been a long time coming. Corry used to be one of the powerhouses in wrestling for a number of years.
Now they're coming back.
Yep. And actually, Mark Muncie's coach was Scott Kroll.
Yes.
Back in the day. And Mark was the second. Here's something that's really neat, too, is that Mark Muncie in 1985 was the section champion. A couple years ago, his son Nate was the section champion. And this year, last weekend, Lucas was the section champion.
Keep it in the family.
So yeah, and I talked with Bob McCrae, and he brings up all these good wrestling points. Look at the Harringtons. Larry Harrington was a section champ back in 1967, and then his sons were all section champions, 4 of them. So that's very impressive. The Conderlicks come to mind. They were all wrestlers and good wrestlers, and it just, the list goes on and on and on. And we're not trying to slight anybody if I left people out here, of course, but we've seen a lot of really good talent, not just at wrestling, at basketball and girls and boys basketball.
Well, a lot of sports.
Swimming. We're doing the winter sports here. We've seen it, the family tradition carry on in Corry, and it is a neat thing to see.
Yes, it is.
A lot of times you see kids wanting to do what their parents did as far as high school sports, and then later in life, if a young man's dad was in the Army,
they follow the step.
They might want to do that and say, my dad was there, I want to do it.
Yeah.
See if I can experience what he did or something similar, and they want to follow in the footsteps, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Eventually, they break off and do their own thing, but it's nice to see them to have that camaraderie with their folks, to be able to
it's neat.
Compare notes a little bit.
Yes, it is.
But we got a lot of stuff going on here, Lee. That's a good chunk of sports right there, and we also have the district swim coming up, right?
Yeah, district swimming will be the 28th and 29th of the month, a week from this coming weekend. And I believe that last I heard there was like 7 or 8 boys going to be going to the district meet, a couple individually and a couple relays. And I do know that there's a couple of girls going in for diving. I'm not real sure if any of them made it in swimming. I will have to go down and talk to Coach Gerald and get some more updates, maybe for next week's show. And he can give me a better idea of where they're seated and how he thinks they'll do it, the individually and in the relays. That will be at the Spire Center. And I heard rumor, Brad, that this will be the last year for Spire Center.
Wow.
I heard it was sold to an individual, and they're actually thinking on keeping the indoor track open, the football field open, the indoor, whatever they got indoors except for the pool. I heard they're going to shut the pool down, fill it in, and use it for the semis to park their trailers. Like a warehouse type deal, is what I heard.
Wow.
Not really sure. They said it was too expensive to keep it going for the amount of use that it gets. So, and it is expensive to keep a pool going. Anybody who has an outdoor pool at their house, they know how expensive it can be. Now you gotta quadruple that at least. It does get expensive. But we'll see. I mean, that's down the road. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Well, that's a shame that is going to take place, and you hate to see a facility like that go by the wayside, especially for swimming like that. There are other places that they have swim in the past. I know Bucknell, right? They used to swim at Bucknell.
They do still. The state meet will be at Bucknell. They used to swim it at State College, and believe it or not, State College or Penn State is not big enough to host a state meet. They like to have a warm up and warm down pool, where Bucknell has like 3 pools, and Penn State only has 1. So you can't really warm up and warm down the right way. Plus, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Penn State's only a 6-lane pool, and they want to swim in an 8-lane pool. So, yeah, Penn State used to be, and now that's gone. So now they still go down to Bucknell every year. So.
Interesting. Well, 2 weeks from now, there's basically a week and a half from now. And, that's going to be a big test for our kids because they have to win there. After districts, they go right to states, right?
Correct.
So you have to win. You have to punch your ticket at districts to be able to go to the state meet.
Yeah, like you and I were talking before the show, Brad, only the top swimmer, the first place swimmer, is the only one that gets a ticket guaranteed to states. The rest of it all goes by time out of the rest of the state. So they'll end up taking, I believe it's 8 guaranteed swimmers. And the other 16, because they run everything in 3 heats, the other 16 will be by time only.
That's a really different way of doing things, and it's very difficult.
Yeah, you won't know until everybody gets done swimming. You'll have to get on the computer and look up the other 8 districts and see what their times are, and then you'll have an idea, and it will come out eventually on the internet anyways, the top 24 swimmers.
Can you imagine being the 25th person? That would be horrible.
What's happened? Well, it happens every event.
That they get invited because as an alternate, right?
They will be an alternate. They may not end up going though, unless somebody scratches.
Wow.
Now I don't know if they end up going in case somebody gets sick. I don't believe so. That would be rough to go to the state meet and sit there and hope that somebody gets sick.
Right.
Really. Unless they have somebody that says, I can't make it that day, then, they don't get to go.
I have seen in the past where, like a wrestler from the region tournament finishes, I believe they take the top 3 from regions to states. And where a guy was finished 4th place, and I believe Matt Long from Union City a couple years ago was an alternate and actually got to go because of an injury, and so he was able to go to the state tournament. I'm not positive of this, but I'm thinking it. I'm thinking this is what happened. But that's a rarity for something like that to happen. And, geez, you definitely want to make the most of an opportunity like that.
Yeah, a lot of times what they'll do, Brad, is you got all these teams that are usually traveling, and they will take them as an alternate, but they will also take them as a roommate for somebody else. That way, if something does happen, they're there to swim. And if it doesn't, well, then they're there to cheer on their team.
Well, as you're explaining this, I'm thinking to myself, that'd be a great opportunity for an underclassman as well, yes. Because they're there actually experiencing what this is all about.
Right.
Even though they're not participating, they're still experiencing the thrill and the atmosphere.
Yeah, the atmosphere
and everything, and how everything is run and takes place, and then it gives them even more incentive the following season to punch their own ticket.
Yes, it does.
So that's fantastic. It's very interesting, and has to be the most unique qualifying for states of any sport there is, because and I know swimming. I find a lot of likenesses, I guess if that's a word, between swimming and wrestling, and also track and field.
Yeah,
because the team and individual part of it.
Right.
So, it's really cool to check things out like that, and you hope that kids really pay attention and grasp all that stuff and realize just how much of just that little extra effort could really propel them into the next level of competition. So
I would like to explain real quick, Brad. They just started doing that about 3 years ago, having the first place only.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason they started doing that was you'd get some of these teams with a slower times. They would swim and get like third in their district and go to states, and you had a team from the other side of the state or wherever had a heck of a lot faster time, and they didn't get it, and they got to sit home. So you're not really having the faster times, the faster swimmers at the state meet. You're having 24 swimmers, but there may be 8 or 9 other swimmers sitting home that are actually faster.
Wow.
But you get like some of these districts over on the east side or the west side of Pennsylvania. I don't know, there must be something in the water because they're always faster. And they had the top 3 go, but they may have 3 other swimmers, 4th, 5th, and 6th swimmers that were actually faster than our 1, 2, 3 swimmers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's happened many times. So that's why they went to that, going by time after the first place.
Wow. Yeah. And there's something that, going back to wrestling, there's something, I know at the youth level, like the PJW tournament, Pennsylvania Junior Wrestling Championships, I know that the qualifying to make it to the state tournament, I know they ran what they called a true second place match, because you're going to have one guy's going to come out of there undefeated, and he's going to be the champion.
Right.
Now, one guy's going to come back through and take third place, and he's only going to have 1 loss.
Right.
Now, the guy that was pitted against the guy that took first went in with no losses. Now he has 1 loss.
Yep.
So now he and the third place finisher each have 1 loss. Mm-hmm. They're going to wrestle for the true second. Losers out, winners in.
Yeah.
And that's a tough thing. I've seen a lot of heartaches and tears in a gymnasium over those matches.
I'll bet.
And
but you think about it, that's actually fair.
Yes.
If you think about it, I mean, yeah, man, you feel sorry for that guy who was actually seated second or third. You feel sorry for him, but I mean that's a fair way of doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the other guy only lost 1 match. Now this guy's lost a match, so right's right.
Yeah.
And I wholeheartedly agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
We're going to talk more sports here in a few minutes, but we better take a commercial break and listen to our wonderful sponsors. We'll be back right after these messages. Welcome back to the Sports Lowdown right here on Channel 98.9 FM. Lee Knapp and Brad Swanson bringing you the Sports Lowdown like we do each and every week right here on Channel 98.9 FM at 6 p.m. Wednesdays. Glad to have you listening to us, and we hope that you tune in each and every week. And once again, we've been trying to throw this out over the last month or so. Forgot to do it for a while there, but the views and opinions that Lee and I are giving you are just that. They're our views and our opinions. And, I'm sure there's people out there that don't agree with everything that we have to say. But we would like your input. If you have something you would like us to talk about a little bit more, maybe, or if you have something that you want to share with us, let us know by going to www.channel989.org. And also, they're still looking for nominees for the Sports Hall of Fame for Corry here. So, if you'd like to nominate someone, I believe you can get a hold of Patty Brown at the high school. She is our athletic director, and
that's up to the end of the month,
I believe. Yeah, they extended it. It was going to be just the end of December, and I don't believe that there was too many people nominating folks. So, and there's so many people out there that are very deserving of that honor to be in that Hall of Fame. There's some wonderful people that are already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
but actually, you could probably get a list from Patty of who's in right now, and that'll give you an idea too as you think back yesteryear when you were in school, or when your kids were in school or whatever, and you remember really good athletes that might not be in yet. Put them on the ballot. That's all it takes is for you to vote on them. So. We'd like to see as many people out there voting as possible.
That's a good thing.
It is. It's very nice. I think that every school district should have it. I know a lot of schools do, but every school district should do that and honor those people that gave it their all when they were in school.
Well, each school's had their share of good athletes. Not only good in the sport that they were in, but good academically, and just all around good people.
Right.
And that's what it's for, is to recognize these people, from the past.
Yep.
More than what's right now. I think, don't you have to be out of it for so long?
I believe, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking at least 5 years, but maybe it's 10.
They have to be out for a while before they can get nominated, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yep, I agree. I think that, like I said, I think there's a whole bunch of people out there that are deserving of that honor, and some of them have not yet been nominated.
Right.
So, check with Patty Brown, and you can probably get her email address from the school. I would throw it out there, but I don't know if I'm at liberty, so I won't give that out right now. Call the Corry High School administration office, and they'll give you a list of contacts of who to get a hold of and how to do that. So, that's a great thing. As we mentioned in the beginning of the show, we have a lot of action coming up here. Lee mentioned that the swimmers will take part in the district meet on the 28th and 29th of February, which is a week from Friday and Saturday.
Right.
And tomorrow night, the boys basketball team will be in their second playoff matchup at Slippery Rock against Grove City. And Saturday night, the girls are at Farrell High School in a first round playoff game. And then the wrestlers will be at the district tournament, which is in Sharon. And we have 13 out of 14 weight classes covered. And we're going to be sending 13 kids down. Those kids will have to finish in the top 8 spots in order to move on to the following weekend, which I believe is again in Sharon, if I'm not mistaken, for the regional tournament. I'm not positive about that, but I know that it will be the regional tournament the following weekend. So you got to finish in the top 8. So the Lady Beavers play Saturday night at Farrell against Slippery Rock in the first round of the playoffs for them. So a lot of action going on, and like we said at the beginning of the show, here Lee and I blinked again, and another season is done, other than the postseason now. We thought football season went by fast, which it did. Volleyball and girls and boys cross country and golf. All that stuff just went by in a blur.
Yes.
And then now here's all the winter sports. And
I mean, like we were talking before the show, Brad, you said you saw kids out running around today. You know, they can't do it officially, but they're getting in shape, getting ready for track.
Yeah, it's just volunteer training, basically.
Right.
And they're going out and hooking up with their buddies and their friends and
getting in shape.
Yep, they're out
trying to get a jump, which is great. It's just amazing where the time goes.
It is. You know, we have a lot to look forward to. We don't want to look past our postseason with the winter sports kids, but we have both girls and boys track and field coming up. We have softball, baseball, and I tell you what, we have the trap team will be getting ready to roll again too. You know that
they've always been on top of their game. I mean, I look for them to do the same this year. That'd be interesting to keep an eye on them and see how they're doing.
Yeah, they. What's ironically is they have a target on their back. That's kind of a strange thing to say about a shooting team. They have a target on their back, but all the other schools want to be at the level that Corry's at.
Yeah, they've always been on top of their game, so it's going to be fun to watch them.
And you know, winning just promotes winning. And when you have a very positive team, you know, a team that does great year after year, the younger kids buy into that and they push themselves, and you have great leaders year after year after year. And, you know, it's a repetitious thing. Once these kids, you know, get going and get really good at it, they become great leaders for the younger kids, and it just the trickle effect, I guess, is what it is. So it's so much fun to watch high school sports. Doesn't matter what we're watching. I could sit back and watch any sport.
Yep.
And cheer the kids on. It's just so much fun when you know the kids too.
Yeah, you've watched them come up through, and you know, like especially like in football, you watch them in the rec football, and then they move up into the varsity level, and you can think back, man, when I coached them, I thought maybe this would happen, you know, or man, I thought this guy would do better than this, or I thought this guy wouldn't amount to nothing, and he's a star now. Yeah, just a lot of fun to watch him move up through the ranks.
Yeah, you know, that does hold true for every sport too. You know, some kids might be, you think that they're there as a participant. They're just my buddy's playing, so I'm going to play.
Right.
And a couple years later, that buddy isn't playing anymore, but this guy or girl are doing fantastic.
Right, they're the star now.
They figured it out, and as we've mentioned in several of our shows, we just really, truly love to see the participation and see the numbers get better. We really don't. It's a bummer to see an undermanned, if you will, team that doesn't have enough people out there.
Right.
And you know, it takes
struggling.
It takes an entire team effort to excel and be good. That trap team we're talking about. You know, it's not just one or two individuals. It's the whole team.
It's the whole team.
The same with the wrestling team being so successful right now. It's the whole team. You know, they've all bought into the program. They all listen well to their coaches. Have a great coaching staff, and you know, the great things are happening. So that's what it's all about. You know, these coaches that every one of our sports, and including the trap team, you know, they're dedicated to the kids, and they're teaching them the right things to do and the right way to do it, and that's what it's all about. If kids listen, they're going to learn, and they're going to be successful. And also, there's life lessons along the way.
Oh yeah, sure there is.
To help out.
You're 100% right on that, Brad. They're there for the kids. You and I have both coached, and you sure don't do it for the money. You're there for the kids. Otherwise, you wouldn't. You got to enjoy what you're doing, or you wouldn't be there. And you enjoy seeing the kids excel and stuff like that. And you don't do it because, man, I'm going to get rich on it. Because you're sure not. You put in so much more time than what you ever get paid for. But you do it because you enjoy watching the kids.
Exactly. Yep. And it's rewarding when they do the things that you're trying to teach them correctly.
And they succeed.
Yep.
When they really start succeeding, then you think, this is what it's all about.
Yep. Well, we definitely have a lot more cheering to do, and hopefully we get a win from that basketball team tomorrow night. We get a bunch of wins from that wrestling team Friday and Saturday, and that'd be great to see the girls pull the big upset over Slippery Rock on Saturday night.
Yeah, it would.
But win, lose, or draw, all of you involved, we're very proud of you, and you've made Corry proud with everything that you've done this year. Control yourselves and your actions at the events, and that goes for you too, parents. You are representing Corry and our school and our town, so our community. Right. So it's always important that we abide by the rules and regulations, and we are, like I said, we're representing our town and our school and our kids, so it's always good to maintain and be positive and have people say, that Corry team, win, lose, or draw, they're just a good sportsmen. Good sportsmen, and we know that our fans travel well, so and I think that by doing that as a whole, everyone kind of maintains and helps each other maintain as well.
Yeah.
I've never heard too many bad reports on our fans or misconduct from our players or fans or anything. So
right. Either way.
Unlike a few other schools, which we won't get into that. But one thing I did want to throw out, Lee, is there's one individual on the wrestling team who pulled out just a phenomenal effort over the weekend, and that's our sophomore heavyweight, Xavier Rada. Xavier came into the tournament, and I think a lot of people thought, if he gets fourth place, that'd be great. Third or fourth, around there. That'd be fantastic. Well, not only did he do that, he made it into the finals, where he was wrestling a young man, and he was losing 9-2 with less than a minute left in the match. And Xavier caught him in a move and took him straight to his back and pinned him. And took first place at heavyweight.
Wow.
When the match was over, the opponent, and I'm not going to mention what school or anything like that, not really important, but he started yelling at the official. I was listening to the match. I wasn't there, but I was listening. And he started yelling at the official, and I noticed that in the seedings for this week's tournament, that young man is not there. Even though he was second place, he is no longer wrestling. He's done for the year because of his actions.
Yeah.
So very important. That's why I threw that last piece in. Very important that we, remember our code of conduct and take actions accordingly.
Right.
And it's very tough. That's a very tough situation, and there's a lot of pressure involved in all of these playoff actions or district competition and stuff like that. It's a lot of pressure on kids, and they are still kids.
Yeah, they got to enjoy it.
But you get to this level, you definitely have to keep your head on straight.
Well, I'm going to say this, Brad. I know as an official that if you basically kick somebody out for unsportsmanlike conduct, which could have happened in this case that you were talking about, they automatically miss the next match or event or whatever, the next game. They're automatically out of it. Doesn't matter what it is.
Right. And in swimming or wrestling, you're done. Your season's over because you have to make that top however many.
Yeah, you from districts to go to districts.
Yep.
You know, to go to states. Mm-hmm. And if you get in the districts and you have a temper tantrum or whatever and start throwing things and they get you for unsporting-like conduct, it doesn't matter where you place because you're not going anywhere. You're done.
Right.
So that very well could have been what happened, and that's why the teams are they got to keep their cool. They got to keep their composure and, you know, realize that it is a game, and win, lose, or draw, you got to keep your cool.
Right. Yep, I agree. Well, that being said, we wish all of our kids, coaches, fans, everyone, we wish everyone a safe and enjoyable time. And, you know, we're hoping for good things from all of you. Just go out and do your very best. And like I said before, we're all very proud of you. The whole community is buzzing right now about our winter sports teams and how they're getting ready for competition. And it's just fun to go around to the grocery store or wherever and you run into people and start talking about it. Everybody wants to talk about some type of sport, so it's always fun to do. And I always know that when I go to pick up 3 items at the store, it's going to be half hour or so at least. So I think my wife's realized that by now too.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. I enjoy our community and all the people in it. Keep up the good work. Keep cheering these kids on.
Yes.
Well, that's going to do it for our show this week, Lee. Hard to believe how fast these shows go by, too.
Yeah, they do.
But next week we'll be giving you updates on how everyone's doing and the progress of the teams that have already participated. And, of course, we'll give you, as Lee said, a sneak preview into the upcoming district swim meet. And Lee's going to try to get a chance to talk with Coach Gerald and get some updates, and he'll have a little more information on that stuff for you. So that's going to do it for tonight. For Lee Knapp, this is Brad Swanson, asking you to continue to keep your radio dial tuned to channel 98.9 FM and listen to Lee and I each and every Wednesday, 6 p.m. right here on channel 98.9 FM to the Sports Lowdown. And as always, go Beavers.